In this video, let us talk about solving linear inequality. Linear inequality. Now, what does that mean? That means we have something that comes from the equation of a straight line, such as 2x plus 3y. But instead of equal sign, we have an inequality. So we may get something less than 6. So this would be an example of linear inequality. Now, how do we solve it? Well, first of all, there is no one solution to this inequality. There will be many points that will work because if we can picture, there are a great many ways to have 2 of something plus 3 of something to be less than 6. So instead of one solution, there will be many solutions, and the answer will come as a picture, as a graph. Now, to solve this inequality, there is only 2 steps that we need to take. The first is we solve it as if it was equal sign. And by solve it, I mean sketch. So we sketch as if we had equal sign. So if I had 2x and 3y is 6, what would that look like? Well, that would be an equation of a straight line, and we have many choices to make in a picture of it, but we really just need 2 points. And one of the easiest ways to get 2 points is to use the intersect method. So let's use the intersect to find a few points. So here is the coordinate axis. Now, the intersect method says that we pick for the x and the y very specific values. So to find the x-intercept, which is here, we need the y numbers to be 0. Well, if y numbers are 0, that means anything times y is gone, right? Because 3 times 0 is 0. Well, here, 3 times 0 is 0. That leaves us with 2x equals 6. Well, 2 times what makes 6? The answer is 3. So our first point is 3, 0. 1, 2, 3, 0. That's here. The second intersect happens to be on the y-axis. To get any point on the y-axis, the x number must be 0. Well, if x is 0 here in our equation, then 2 times 0, of course, is 0, which makes 3y is 6. 3 times what is 6? The answer would be 2. So 0, 2 is our second point, somewhere here. Now, when we had equal sign in all of our previous examples, we would simply draw a straight line. But with inequalities, we have 2 choices. We can either make straight line, and here straight line, so we connect the dots with solid line, if we have equal sign. So if we have one of less than or equal or greater than equal, then it would be solid line. On the other hand, if we have less than or greater than without the equal, then we connect our dots with the dotted line. And so we connect them something like this. So that's the first step. That's the beginning of our solution. The second step is we now have, one more thing that I would like to mention, I apologize, is in connecting of the dots. The less than or equal, greater or equal to would correspond to the bracket. So the solid line corresponds to the bracket in one dimension. The case that we have with the dotted line would correspond to a parenthesis, and just like in one dimension, the parenthesis means, or the dotted line means, we are not including the points on this dotted line. Whereas the bracket would mean a solid line, and that would mean we are including all the points that are on our solid line. So in our solution, we are not including because we have dotted line. Now, the final part is we now have 2 parts to this graph, below and above, and we need to choose which one of these is a solution. all the points would respond the same way. So if the point here is true, then all the points on this side are true. If the point here is true, then all the points on that side is true. So all we need to do is pick any point that is not on the straight line. Usually, if the line does not go through the origin, through 0, 0, then that is the easiest one to pick. So let us choose. So the second step is test a point by plugging it into original inequality. And if the answer happens to be true, then we shade the side where the point is. Because that means that all the points on that side would also be true. If the answer turns out to be false, then none of the points on that side would be true, and so the answer has to be on the other side. So we simply shade the other side, meaning the side where there is the opposite side of our point. So let's pick 0, 0, which is in the origin here, and we substitute it back to our original inequality, which is here. So if we replace x with a 0, we'll get 2 times 0. 3 replace y with a 0, less than 6. Is that true or false? Well, that makes 0 less than 6. Is 0 less than 6? Yes, it is. 0 is less than 6, which means this point and all the points on that side of a line will all be true. So we shade this side of the line, and this diagram is the actual final answer to our inequality. Now, just for the sake of example, suppose we picked a different side. Let's say we chose a point that is 3, 3. Now 3, 3 is here somewhere, 1, 2, 3, and then 3 units up, 1, 2, 3. So this point. Now if we chose this point and plugged it in to our original inequality, what would we get? We would get 2 times 3 plus 3 times 3 less than 6. Well, that's a 6 plus 9 less than 6, or 15 less than 6. Well, that is false, which means none of the points on this side are going to work. So we simply do not shade this side, we shade the opposite side, which once again leads us to the same solution, which is here. And that is how we solve a linear inequality. Now, with a calculator, we can check if we have the right shading, and to do this, we would need to solve our equation for the y, because the calculator will only accept answers as the y. So here is our equation. Let us solve it for the y. So it begins with 2x plus 3y is 6. So to get y by itself, let's subtract 2x from both ends. That makes 3y is 6 minus 2x. To undo multiplication, all I need is division by 3. And so my y is 6 minus 2x, all of it divided by 3. That's all I need for the calculator. Let us type it in and have a look. So here is y. Now we need all of the top to be divided by 3, so it goes in parentheses. 6 minus 2x divided by 3. Now on the left side of the equal sign, we have this lines, and we can actually choose them to be, instead of equal, we can choose them to be an inequality. So if we use the arrows and scoot over to the very end and hit enter, now we have a choice. We can select the color, and if I press the down arrow, I can now choose the different settings for the line. Now that's a dotted line, that's a big dotted line. This, with a triangle looking down, is equivalent to less than symbol. So if I choose less than and hit OK, then let's see what happens. So here is our straight line and the shading that goes with it. So on a homework or test, I can see that I have indeed shaded I have the right line, it goes through the right points. I can check that with the table, and I will see the same intersects 0, 2, and 3, 0. So it's the same line, and I can see the same shading. The only thing I cannot see is whether the line is solid or dotted. But I know it's a dotted line because I can see here there is no equal sign. So all the points on the line will not be included on my solution, so that would be a dotted line. And that is it for this video. Thanks a lot for your time.